disagreement of each other. This one said it's you, this one says it's you, this one says it's not you, this one says it's you, I blame you, you are the one to be blamed, this one says you are the one to be blamed. And they were going on with an argument. And that was it, actually. I left there. And I came back to England and London, because that's more normally where I've been all this time. And I sort of tried to look for a job. But it wasn't easy. I got into a few other jobs, but still, it wasn't very much something that I could be taken in, settled in as permanent, or somehow I was doing casual work till I ended up in the post office, working in the post office. But I was out of a job for a very long time. But actually, depending on the government funds, the government funds, the tax funds, or let's say my tax rebate funds, or whichever way it's done. So I depended on my tax rebates or the benefit that will come from the tax that you pay for some time and all that. And I held on to it until I finally got a job at the post office to do. And still my condition was not good ever since that time. But being through this experience in the area I was, and the strange looks people in the rumor can also travel, and how people were reacting and behaving towards me, and the way people were isolating themselves unnecessarily without any reason, that you not knowing somebody is quite strange, and the person behaving as if there's something sinister about you, or somehow that person feels as if, makes you feel as if you're desperate to want to be close to that person, and he has to distance himself or distance herself, or somehow they're playing a game with your life, or somehow it's like there's something suspicious about you, and they're always curious, or by the same time very distance themselves away from you. It was strange, because I've never used to be like that. People were close, a very, very sociable person. I have people around me always, happy, and I'm not a discriminative guy. I don't really put people down, and because I don't like to be treated bad, as I wouldn't treat people bad. So it was something that I'm curious, but I'm also somebody who wouldn't take no for an answer, whereby if you decide to be very, very, very odd to me, I won't like you for you to look down on me, because I have an experience, I have my own background, and the life's unfortunate issues that happens make us all look whatever it is. So I blend in whatever the situation has been, but I don't see anybody being above me or me being above anybody. I mean, I believe in a level play field ground for everybody. So but that's me anyway. And maybe I could be heritage from my parents, because of my story I hear about my father. He is that type of person. He doesn't like to be cheated, and he doesn't cheat people very much. So maybe we sort of got that characteristics from him in some sense, which makes sense. And he was a just and fair man, but very disciplined man in all his life. And he disciplined his children accordingly, in an evil, bad way, but for us to be straightforward and all that, to be straightened up as we have been straightened up for a few years that we know him before he passed away. He did just adjust us in such a way that we can never put that away. We have the blood side, we have the little experience of control from him, which is good, which I've lived with me, especially I've lived with all my life till now. Some things that were not necessary that I don't fall on, but most of the things I picked quickly from him. I'm sure probably my brothers too, and sister too. But life has gone gradually to the worst state, that my decision in Britain, or in the UK, or this country that I live, has been on and off. An uncertain mind set, not being able to settle, not being able to sort of fall into anything, or give myself, or sort of be a part of anything, because I realized that there was something existing in this country, whether it's Europe or it's America or whatever, whether it's the white people or it's the black people, I can't tell. The thing is, I have experienced something beyond what a human normally we move around alive and you don't really know or sense. We probably suspect. But I've experienced that. I've heard it, experienced it. And since it's right here, then I have to be able to advise myself. And I have advised myself very much. And these movement of this spirit experience I see react in people. It reacts in people. It reacts in myself. It reacts in people. It's already probably got access. Me, for instance, and it sort of uses that to its own advantage. And it's been using others that unknowingly or knowingly are vessels to its cause. Now, whatever its cause is, so far from my personal, I realize that it hasn't been in my favor. It has not been in my favor. Before this incident, things were in my favor. Almost virtually everything I do was in my favor until certain moment that I began to become uncertain, unsure of certain things that I had to back out a little bit. You know, in that situation, I even went back to Ghana, my country, to sort of get myself restart again live, you know, because it was really up my neck, confused. It's the same time. These are the times where it all began, you know. So I went back to just think things through and start afresh. And I did come to start afresh. But when I'm back in the UK, starting afresh and trying to get things together, it doesn't end there. It still became worse, and the worst is what I've already told you. The worst is what I went through. That's from 2002, 2003. That's where the worst I went through. It was terrible. The worst things I went through is what I've all explained all this time, and making me realize that before the 2003, after the 2003, making me realize that there is a spirit in this country, a spirit that maybe favors the white people, or due to what the past generational Europeans or Greeks or whoever did has brought about, or due to the current situation of imitating a faith that belongs to another tradition, another tribe or group, or ethnic group, imitating it and doing that, have got some spirit. Now, whether that spirit being God or devil or whatever, I don't know. But the sign is my interest. If I'm progressing, then it's good. Now, whether it's good or bad, at the end of the day, you're progressing. This life that we live, there are people who would do voodoo, do all sort of things. And if that thing brings good things to their life, they stick to it. It doesn't matter what you say, because the process is how to survive. The world is not waiting, and the world is not ready to sympathize with you to make you progress, and you're not ready to drown yourself whilst others move on, unless we all come on a plain level field to agree on one thing. And it never happens that way. Something always draws us apart. It doesn't bring us together. And so the fact that we are always going apart and growing apart and separating and spreading over and going apart, then that is one reason why you cannot afford to allow yourself to sort of not take advantage of anything that comes your way that can bring you progression or can make you move on and can benefit you. And others go to the extreme to do some horrible ritual things. But this is a situation where the luck just comes to you. That's what I'm trying to say here. It's like I didn't call for it, I didn't ask for it. At the beginning, between 1999 all the way and before even that, I had my own falls and all that. But when I came in and I was in the UK, things were positive and was, okay, and was, very progressive. And after 2003 and all that, it became all weird, everything the clock turned back, and it's like moving anti-clockwise, and I realized that something wasn't right. But the experience is the only reason I could give to all this. It's not because mentally I'm going backwards, not because mentally I don't want to go positive, no. But even if mentally, with my strong mental focus upbringing, I decide to go forward, or I even go forward